Hi, good morning. This is Gayatri Jayaraman. Welcome to Shamaha. Those of you who've been watching all my videos, thank you so much and welcome back. And those of you who are new, welcome, and I hope you find something interesting here to sort of kickstart your inspiration for the day. All of you do remember to like, share and subscribe, because apparently the YouTube algorithm only sort of recommends the videos to others if there is a lot of liking, sharing and subscribing going on. So please do take a moment. It would mean a lot to me. Thank you so much. Today wanted to talk to you about resistance. And resistance is something that we all face in our everyday lives. We want to go down a certain path and we feel very blocked, right? We feel like no matter what we do, we take all our efforts, we've tried everything, and just nothing is moving down that path. This could be in a work situation, this could be financial, this could be in a relationship. It seems like we're talking two different languages with whatever issue we're trying to budge. And this is something that comes up in meditation also, right? I have a lot of people sort of writing to me saying, or tweeting at me, saying no matter how many times I try to meditate, I just cannot focus beyond a few moments. My thoughts wander. And I'm going to do a separate sort of video on the myths of meditation, so do look out for that. But also I want to talk about this idea of resistance, and there's something we always tell meditators is meditation is not a holding on, right? There's just no idea that you have to see, there is no visual object, there is no mantra that if I have achieved this for 10 minutes, then I have meditated. As J. Krishnamurti says, meditation is a non-doing. It is a release. It is not a doing. So anything that you're actively doing is interfering in the process of your meditation. However, and here's the trick, okay? When I'm focusing on releasing, that is also a doing. So I have these thoughts sort of wandering through my head, and I'm saying, don't think them, don't watch them, don't observe them, don't hold on to them, let them go. That is also, you're holding on to the idea of release, and that itself is a doing that interferes with your meditation and becomes resistance. So your ability to get into the space of non-doing has to be organic, it has to be natural, it has to sort of I like to call it an evolved indifference, if you know what I mean. It's not like, it's kind of like, let me give you an everyday example. So you have a husband and a wife, right? And the wife is really, really clingy. And the husband says, can you just give me a little space, to do my own thing and you do your own thing? And the wife is like, no, we have to go for dinners together, we have to go shopping together, everything we do, we have to do together. And the husband is like, I'd really appreciate some space. And the wife at that point is like, okay, fine, you do your thing, I'm going to do my thing. And the ignoring of each other or giving each other space is very fraught. It's angry. It comes from a space of not understanding why this person wants space. Whereas when there is organic space between a couple, the wife is happy doing her own thing, the husband is happy doing his own thing, and they meet. So it's not like the separation, nor is there angst. So that's kind of like what it is between your thoughts and you in a space of meditation, where you're not like, I'm going to ignore you, I'm not going to talk to you, I'm not going to focus on you. That's not meditation. That is just an angry sort of anti-coupling. Yeah. Remember that in meditation, when you resist the thought, you are focusing on the resistance, and therefore what is happening is you are meditating on the resistance. When you meditate on the resistance, it just grows bigger and bigger and bigger, and it becomes this thing. So you spend 10 minutes focusing on what not to focus on. And those of you who've read my book, Sit Yourself Down, Novice's Journey to the Heart of Vipassana, the link is in the box below. You will know there's a chapter there in which I meditated successfully for a couple of hours on my pink socks. And this is all because somebody came to me and said, hey, do you need a new pair of socks? And I spent the whole afternoon trying not to think about my socks, and all I meditated on was my socks, right? And that is something that showed me that when we focus on our resistance, we make the resistance bigger. And this is something like the Akbar Birbal story, right? Where Birbal tells Akbar, whatever you do today, sir, just do not focus on mangoes. Anything else you do is fine, just don't focus on mangoes. So Akbar goes around his day, and all he manages to do during the day is think about the mangoes he's not supposed to think about, because he is so focused on not thinking about them. This is a story that also came to me in another way when we talk about Krishna and Kamsa. And somebody I remember in my childhood raised the question, but why did Ravana get to die at Ram's hands, and why did Kamsa get to be killed by Krishna? Because even that is an honor, right? To be defeated by God or a form of God is an honor, right? Ordinary mortals don't get that. So you have to be special to be for God to sort of take an avatar and wage an entire war, and his entire life be devoted to defeating you. You have to be pretty special. So what was so special about Kamsa and Ravana? And the thing is that the answer came, and I don't remember right now who gave me this answer. I think it must have been a teacher or in some form or the other, and I thanked them for this insight. Was because both Ravana and Kamsa devoted their lives to thinking about their enemy. And in Hinduism in specific, the focus of the mind, whatever you focus on, that sanctifies you. That is what becomes bigger. So Kamsa did more than the average devotee, because his every waking minute was devoted to Krishna, Lord Krishna. And Ravana, his entire existence was devoted to Ram. His mind was just Ram, 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 Ram this, Ram that, Ram this, Ram that. And Ram was the biggest thing in the world that he had to conquer. And therefore he spent his life in complete devotion to Ram. And this is a story I like to think about when I think about people who sort of wage these little wars against me, or so I think we all have them, right, in our workplaces, in our personal lives. They're just devoted to making our lives miserable. And then I think, wow, I must be really special to them. They spent their whole lives thinking about me, right? They've devoted their lives to me. So I have to be flattered, not angry at this kind of, one-mindedness that even devotees aspire to and just do not gain. But here's also the lesson from it, that when whatever you focus on, that becomes your resistance, that becomes the enemy, and that becomes bigger and bigger and bigger in your mind. Okay, so there are various areas in which we focus on resistance in our lives. This is our personal life, in our relationships, in our workplaces, the obstacles that we face, in our financial lives, and in our health. Right? These are the 4 areas: personal, professional, financial, and health. Now, in all of these areas, what you focus on is what you're building up. So in your personal life, say you've had a tiff with your mom or your sister or your brother or an in-law, and she said this to me, and she said this to you when 20 years ago, okay? But you have held on to that so much, you have meditated on that so much, that it has become the biggest defining thing in your relationship with that person. So now your entire relationship with that person is defined by that which was said to you. Okay, and let's be clear, sometimes if you're not talking to the other person or you haven't met them in a very long time, as it happens with friends, that friend has moved on with their life, completely forgotten what they said to you casually, and have no clue you're still holding on to it. And you have this little insignificant sentence or a word or a gesture or a non-gesture, somebody who didn't show up for a wedding, who didn't congratulate you, didn't send you a gift, maybe they had something else on their mind that day, or maybe they didn't even realize they were being rude or dismissive or whatever. but you have defined your entire relationship with that person by that definition. And one way that I realized this was recently I got in touch with an actress whom I'd written one really, dismissive article about almost 15 years ago. And when I met her, I hadn't met her since then. And I just sort of reached out to her and I said, I'm really sorry. That thing has really lingered with me as a very careless thing to say. It was a comment on her clothes or something like that. And she looked surprised and she said, what did you say? And I just realized, oh my God, I've been avoiding this woman for 15 years, thinking that she must be so offended by what I've said. And I just realized if I just reached out to her 14 years ago, I could have actually built a relationship through my journalistic career with her. But it didn't matter to her because so many people say things to her, it gets lost in translation, whatever I've said is not important, I'm not important, why should she remember it? But this is just a far removed example because it's less emotional, right? It's just to show you that this is what we do with our partners, our friends, our husbands, our children. We define our entire relationship by the fact that that person said something really mean to us 15 years ago. And the resistance has defined the relationship. It's become bigger, and it has become the focal point of the meditation. Okay, we do this in the workplace. Somebody gave us a bad review, somebody gave us work that we didn't want to take, and we have, made us change our seat, gave us an office room that we really didn't like, dismissed a presentation that we made, we didn't get the promotion that we want, and we simmer and simmer and simmer. And that has defined the entire workplace relationship. All our connections are based on that. And then, for instance, say there's a group of people that particular boss has, like, we start distancing ourselves from that group. Our communication with them becomes very, very abrupt. We cease to be warm, friendly. We don't put our faith in people. We don't collaborate as much. We don't give of ourselves as much because the last time I gave it wasn't valued, so why should I give it now? So do you see how this single point of resistance has become so big that it has infiltrated every other aspect of our lives? We do this in health, especially when we diet. Why do diets not work? Because the entire focus of the diet is on what we should not eat. So your entire day is spent thinking, don't eat that. Go to a restaurant, look at the menu, don't order that, oh God, what's left, right? When you go into the kitchen to cook, you're thinking, what should I not cook? What should I not include? What should I not put into this recipe? Not what do I feel like eating? What's going to make me happy? What's going to make me feel enriched? What's going to make me feel nourished, right? And the same thing that happens with finances. And this is something that if you've listened to videos on the law of attraction, the principle of abundance, it's always focus on feeling rich, on think that you already have it and you'll have it. And why does that work? And people give you all kinds of reasons, like it's vibrational, you're vibrating on the same energy and therefore you're attracting. But why are you vibrating on that energy? Why are you attracting it, right? It's because your focus has shifted, not from, oh, I don't have money for this, I don't have money for that, I can't do this, I can't do that. You've shifted your mindset to what you have and what you'd like to have and what you'd like to see happen. And not in the sense of just remember the angry couple, right? It's not like I'm going to ignore you, I'm not going to think about all the bills I've got to pay. No, that's not it. You look at the bills and you say, hey, I'm so fortunate I got to spend all this. I have wonderful clothes, I have a wonderful existence, I'm sort of living a good life, and the money, I've always had money when I needed it. It's always come to me through some source or the other. So let me focus on the things that I have, and hey, what are the things that I've been doing that bring the money in? I really enjoy writing, I really enjoy communicating on YouTube, I really enjoy counseling clients, I really enjoy teaching. And therefore, when your focus shifts to the things that you have and are able to do, those are already in your control, you're already seeing benefits from it, you move to a position where you're operating from your best self. What is your best self? Your best self is when you feel in control, when you have the resources at hand, when you're sort of feeling emotionally very centered at your core, and you think, you know what, I'm really good at this. I really enjoy this. I really enjoy, working on this. This is difficult for me to do, but it really engages me. And whenever I do this, I get really good results. And if you see, it's just a very simple mindset shift. When you shift from I don't do, nobody rewards me, nobody recognizes me, nobody appreciates me, to, you know what, I really love this, I'm going to do this, then you'll see that people also start being attracted and start to engage with you. And what is the reason? Think about it yourself, right? If you're in a room full of people, let's say you've been to a party, and there's somebody who's sitting there going, I don't know anybody, I can't talk to anybody, I hate this party, I'm just really not having a good time. You might just go and ask them, are you doing okay? Do you want something? And you sit with them for a minute. But at the end, you're going to enjoy yourself, right? So you're going to go find people to enjoy yourself with. And that is how like attracts like. None of us are drawn towards the things that pull us down. We always are drawn towards the things that pull us up. So when you are putting yourself up, when you're being positive, when you're bringing out your best self, you will draw those opportunities to you. You will attract those aspects to you that also sort of want to be drawn up, and that are drawn up through you, and that also offer you things by which you get to be drawn up yourself. So this is the way in which to make that mindset shift, okay, from don't have, can't do, won't do, will not work, to I can do, I see. And when you shift in this way, you'll notice that the resistance not just dissolves, it just doesn't matter. You can have an entire mountain in your path and it doesn't matter, because you're not looking at the mountain. You're not thinking all the things that this mountain is doing to you. You're thinking of all the things you can do. And this is the way in which new opportunities open up to us, new paths, new friendships, new networks, right? New ways of connecting. If you have somebody who you can't really get away from, right? You're related to them, they're in your house, it could be a husband, it could be a mother-in-law. What if you stop focusing on the things that they've said and done, and you start looking at, okay, like what else can I say to this person? What other ways of connecting with them are there? Let's just put this aside. I can't resolve this. They're never going to get over it. I'm never going to get over it. Put it aside. Hey, want to go eat ice cream? Want to have watch a movie? Are there other things we can bond over? Are there new interests we can develop? And at some point, maybe not overnight, but maybe after a year of doing this, okay, are there recipes you can teach me that I'd like to learn? After a year of doing this, you'll say like, hey, what was that weird thing we just had a tiff about, and it just seems so silly now because we know each other so well. Because the thing that was an issue, that was the resistance, had infiltrated everything else, that you failed to develop all of these other aspects of connection with that person. And now when you have the others, when you have the 340-degree aspects, the 20-degree aspects don't matter because they're so small in comparison. But if you allow the 20-degree to take over the 360-degree, then that's all there is. Right? So this is the way to look at resistance in your own life. This is the way to sort of recognize it, the blocks, be very tuned into your own energy, what is obstructing it, what is allowing it to flow. When something is obstructing it, don't make it bigger and bigger and bigger than it needs to be. Just be like, okay, there's a boulder in the path. Flow like a river. A river doesn't like sort of look at a mountain and say, I have to go only through that mountain, and whatever happens, I'm going to carve a hole through that mountain and get to the other side. Like, okay, there's a mountain, I'll just go around it. Yeah, and that's just the simplest way to live life. It's the path of least resistance. It's flowing like a river. It's not allowing anything to interrupt you, and it's not allowing the mountain to be the entire landscape. So don't make things bigger than they are. Put your resistance in the place it needs to be. Just let it go. It doesn't really matter. So have a great day, and I hope you have a wonderful resistance-free day, and one in which you're able to sort of flow around and navigate and meander to wherever you need to get to be. Do remember to like, share, subscribe. I'm sorry I'm going on repeating that, but it's very important. And do sort of spread the word. I will be posting 2 things later in the day. One is the myths of meditation, which a lot of you have been asking me for, and a card reading. So do look those up. Thank you so much. See you soon.